Did Back to the Future predict and foreshadow 4 major modern-day conspiracy theories? This movie has it all. People think The Simpsons foreshadowed and predicted a lot of stuff. Now, The Simpsons had the advantage of being created by a dude who knew Epstein and is in the Epstein files, so this kind of show spans decades. Back to the Future has 4 crazy conspiracy theories. I'm talking things involving JFK, his assassination, 9/11, the Illuminati, and another conspiracy theory that is so batshit crazy. I have no words for it. I don't believe in it myself, but the fact that so much can be taken out of these movies that came out so long ago, Back to the Future stands the test of time. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I'm not a lunatic with a tinfoil hat, alright? Most major real conspiracy theorists would think I'm a normie, that I'm a joke. But some of this stuff, man, could it be coincidence? But I think there could be a little bit more to it. Alright, now the Back to the Future trilogy, I love this trilogy more than most people love their families. I'm not being hyperbolic at all when I say that. This is a very special series of films to me. I even like the 3rd movie. Not a lot of people talk about it, but I like it too. But the first 2 Back to the Future movies are amazing. Back to the Future 1 is one of my I think it's my top 5 favorite films of all time. It's right up there with my favorite trilogies ever. The Pusher trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, I will say I like the Lord of the Rings and Dark Knight trilogy more than Back to the Future a bit, but still, this film makes me nostalgic for a time I was not alive for. You know when movies do that to you? I was not alive in the 80s or the 50s when they go back in time. I wasn't alive during these times, but I feel like I was there. I have a Mandela effect in my brain when I watch this stuff now. Let's get to the conspiracy theories, what you're here for. And yes, some of them do hint and connect at Epstein. If you're able to stretch it that far. I'm trying to be very careful here because I don't want to get demonetized, right? Back to the Future predicts 9/11. All right? And these are not new theories that I've come up with. Many other YouTubers have spoken about this. The Twin Pines Mall is the main key here. The Twin Pines Mall changes. So the Twin Pines Mall, which is like a symbolism for the Twin Towers, this mall, there's an attack by Libyan terrorists who want a bomb. Okay? After Marty goes back in time and accidentally hits a tree or 2 trees, we go from Twin Pines Mall to Lone Pine Mall. The future has been altered. The future has been reset to the Lone Pine Mall. People think this is symbolic, an echo of the future, of what would happen to the World Trade Center. There's something else. Back to the Future depicts the future as October 2015. And in the real October 2015, a movie about the Twin Towers, or with the World Trade Center in it, called The Walk, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I think, premiered. Robert Zemeckis directed the same film. Both these films. The Walk stars, I think it's based on a real story about a dude walking on a zip line that is attached to the World Trade Center. Coincidence? Who knows? I'm not saying Robert Zemeckis knew he was going to make this movie, but that's what the theorists say. The theory here is basically that there was knowledge of the 9/11 attacks beforehand that the US had, and in some way, Back to the Future, these films were trying to warn us about it, very subtly, in code. Take what you will from that. I know it's a stretch. I'm just laying out the fabric of the reality of these conspiracy theories out to you, okay? This is a comedy character. This is Dave Chappelle, okay? And we know that there's some stuff in the Epstein files about 9/11, maybe hinting to the fact that it was knowledge about some stuff that went down in 9/11, all right? That's what I'm going to say there. JFK. Now, this is less of a prediction of JFK's murder, because JFK's murder happened before this film, and more of an echo of the conspiracy surrounding it, okay? Someone made a whole YouTube video about this. You can Google it and find it. It's the most popular one. The courtyard park, where a lot of this plot happens for this movie, like the main set piece of the film, it is said that it's made to look exactly like where JFK was killed when he was driving down and got shot. And the courthouse clock tower in that area, conspiracy theorists say this runs parallel to clock tower in this area, and they think it's not just a coincidence that the main rising action that leads us to the past is a car going down this area and getting hit with an aerial beam in front of the clock tower, similar to what happened to JFK. It's all meant to be symbolic. In another blink or you'll miss it shot, I don't even know, bro. Conspiracy theorists don't have lives, bro. They were able to figure this out. I didn't even see this. There is a shop in the past, I believe, that Marty McFly goes to, and there's a bunch of presidents' heads there, and this is a full 3D head, severed head of JFK there that looks different from the others. So there is that, and this shop is located right where apparently JFK died. I have not verified this myself. I don't know. This movie came out whatever anniversary was of JFK's assassination. So theorists say if there's enough patterns of coincidence, soon that just starts to become evidence. And the biggest thing, and this is one that kind of shocked me as well, where honestly, when I was reading this, I was like, that seems a bit too coincidental, man. The family of Marty McFly's mom, who he sees in the past, when he goes back to the past, they're called the Baines family. And Marty McFly has a line where he says, hey, do you guys know what happened there, John F. Kennedy Road or whatever? And they're like, who the heck is John F. Kennedy? Is it a coincidence that... They're like, who the hell is John F. Kennedy? Is it a coincidence that this family who said this is named Baines, the middle name of Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was the successor to JFK after he was killed, and many conspiracies surrounding JFK's death point him and the CIA at the center of it, saying that Lyndon B. Johnson conspired with the CIA and maybe another rogue country to kill JFK. And when they do go to John F. Kennedy Drive and he finds Doc there, Doc, this is a stretch, I'll be honest. Doc has a wound here that's apparently right where John F. Kennedy got shot. I don't know if they were going into that amount of detail to flesh this code-worded conspiracy out in this film, but that's what the conspiracy theorists say. Alright, now, if you've made it this far into the video, now we're getting to the Illuminati part. And this is, I'm gonna be honest, bro, this was to put their purpose there, right? If you're a filmmaker who has a keen knowledge about your set, you're very specific about the details you put in this set, all right? There is a shot where Marty McFly's talking to his girl, and they're interrupted by this woman who's trying to collect money to save the clock tower. She gives him a flyer, save the clock tower, okay? And by the way, this woman is very important because without her doing this, he wouldn't have the idea to use the clock tower, and he'd probably still be stuck in 1955. She interrupted them and solicited donations for the Hill Valley Preservation Society, mentioning the 1955 lightning strike. This is a huge thing, a plot point for the movie. She sets this up. She's very important. This is the shot, all right? Look behind her. Let's go closer to it. Third eye. In a shape, in a pyramid that's very, very familiar to people if you're aware of certain symbols, okay? Now, this is either the Eye of Horus, Egyptian Eye of Horus, or the all-seeing Eye of the Illuminati, or the third eye, which represents introspection and knowledge, which could be used to describe this woman and what's behind her, because she is doing something that leads Marty McFly to have a knowledge that will save him later, right? Even her badge, the clock is shaped in a way, it's the triangle, the circle, it looks like the Illuminati symbol. So, conspiracy theorists, and I don't actually mind this theory that much, they say that she actually represents the organization behind her. A power, aka the Illuminati, in the world that knows of things going on and wants to change them or fix them. They want to control the timeline, and they're maybe keenly aware of what's happening. They're keenly aware of how important Marty McFly is, and they want to control him, so they send her there. She's like an operative. So whether or not you think that much is true, you can't deny that there was an Illuminati symbol there. And I know that they put it there purposely. I'm not saying why, but it's pretty cool. It's just a cool little tidbit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people believe the Illuminati exists in some fashion, all right? Whether you think it's the Trilateral Commission, or do you think it's an ancient, old money family from all the way back that's controlling things, or the Trilateral Commission, or just a group of Satan-worshipping elites at the top, right? A lot of people think this thing exists. And this symbol, which is tied to like these theories and Freemasonry and all that, they think this symbol was tied to that. And Back to the Future, the director, Robert Zemeckis, was putting that as an Easter egg there, saying that, listen, the Illuminati is linked to supernatural forces, and time could be one of them. And we're just gonna put that out there. Now, the fourth one is the most wild and out there one. I don't believe in this myself. I'm just gonna tell you that right now, okay? Because I don't think this theory has much merit. And I think it's used by people for political agendas and political ends mostly, but regardless, here's the theory. So remember that Biff, my friend Biff, he took the almanac and used it to alter the future by going back to his past self and giving him the almanac and telling him all the things he needs to know to bet on. And therefore we have an alternate dark reality where Biff becomes this all-powerful, egotistical, corporate conglomerate owner kingpin, basically. In this timeline, Biff Tannen uses money and influence to become the most powerful figure, essentially turning Hill Valley into a dystopian wasteland. The real-life inspiration for this was confirmed to be inspired by Donald Trump. Look at this. Even he looks like Donald Trump. And Biff Tanner's Pleasure Paradise, which is like this hotel casino. Some could say it's reflective of Mar-a-Lago, Trump's infamous club. I think it's on Palm Beach. It's also notorious for having women that were recruited by Epstein. It's famous for Trump allegedly kicking out Epstein, which is confirmed to be false in the Epstein files. He actually didn't kick him out. He invited him back many more times, and knew Epstein and all that stuff. And, you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the persona that is inspired by Trump has a club that's corrupt, that's called Pleasure Paradise, right? And if you're a fan of Trump, you might hate me for saying this, but, you know, they said that this is the inspiration for that. I'm just quoting them, okay? But on the other side, you have a bunch of people who think Trump hasn't turned America into a wasteland and love him, otherwise calling him a folk hero, and Trump does have a cult of personality. So did Biff in Back to the Future. He was called America's greatest living folk hero in the movie, for God's sakes, all right? So there's a lot of parallels here, right? You could say they predicted Trump accumulating a lot of power, and maybe in their eyes seeing him as corrupt. There's also a theory that parallels his journey in time travel with Trump. You know, there's a conspiracy theory out that Trump is a time traveler, or his family lineage stems from time travel. Yeah, I'm not lying about this. This is real. My friend sent it to me yesterday, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, bro, I have to put this in the video because it perfectly matches what I'm talking about here. The theory alleges that Nikola Tesla was in the pursuit of creating a time machine, okay? He actually said that he made a discovery suggesting that time and space could be influenced by magnetic fields. And he said that apparently he became obsessed with time travel. He was working on a time machine project. He said that I could see the past, present, and the future at the same time. We don't know. This is all alleged. I don't know if this is true, if he ever succeeded in doing anything with time. We don't know. But in January 1943, he died, and the FBI called upon MIT electrical engineer and professor John G. Trump, uncle of Donald Trump, to examine Tesla's papers and equipment. Trump determined that Tesla's death ray and other papers contained nothing of significant value. But John G. Trump had the designs and blueprints for the stuff that Tesla was working on. Maybe one of them was a time machine. Donald Trump has talked about his uncle being a brilliant genius and the good genes running in the family for science and engineering. Now, the theory suggests that because his uncle had these papers, his uncle was able to figure something out. Now, there is a book written by a dude who I think was alive around the same time that Nikola Tesla was. This is called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground, okay? And in this story, there exists a world within a world that can only be accessed by Baron Trump when he goes to Russia. This portal that takes him to the Hollow Earth. We're getting crazy here, guys. I'm sorry. This is a theory. This is not my theory. This is a theory on the internet. And there's a guide there called Dawn that guides you through Dawn's fun world, which is in this Hollow Earth escape. Now, apparently the same author who wrote this wrote another book called The Last President, and this book directly foreshadows pretty much Donald Trump's entire reign. How an outsider comes in and takes over the presidency, and there's a big protest around the Fifth Avenue Hotel. The Fifth Avenue Hotel will be the first to feel the fury of the mob. I think that's where Trump Tower is located in New York. I could be wrong, but that's what the theory suggests. Fact 2, there's references to a Capitol destruction or an assault on a Capitol building in the book. We had that January 6th event happen. Was it January 6th? January 10th? Whatever the hell it was. And this is a quote. As the dawn broke cold and gray and it was first dim light fell upon and shattered dome, glorious even in its ruins, a single human eye filled with the gleam of devilish joy looked up at it long and steadily, hinting at the Illuminati. That's what the theory suggests. That as a result of this destruction at this building, in this book, at the Capitol here, the Illuminati was happy. Now, I haven't read this thing, so the context could be completely different. A lot of conspiracy theories like to just grab random things out of context and say, yeah, that works for my theory, right? So I could be wrong. But there's two paths of this theory. One of them is that Donald Trump's family was using time travel and then writing books and coding things in the books with knowledge of what happens in the future, his presidency, and warning us about it to either stop him, or the other theory is that, similar to what Biff did by going back in time and talking to his younger self, that either Trump or someone from his family did the same thing and told them the right things to do to get into the presidency. That is what the theory suggests. Now, I don't believe in any of that shit, personally. That's a bit out there for even me. I don't believe in a lot of the conspiracy theories. I will say, I've always thought that the JFK thing was an inside job, okay? In regards to 9/11, people saying that, the movie predicted 9/11 and was telling us, bro, there was inside knowledge and we're warning you about this. I will say that I've always bought the official story of 9/11. However, I'm open to the idea that other things may have happened that we don't know of. I'm open to the idea that the government maybe knew of it, or had knowledge. I'm also open to the idea that there were darker forces at work, because in the Epstein files, we have weird emails saying, oh, Ghislaine, will you be on the Shadow Commission on 9/11? The membership list is a secret. Oh, where is the real pilot? Now, you know better than that. Be nice, because one day you will be in the backseat while I'm flying, and you can check the redacted who flew that day. As a trade, thought you might like this pic. You know, there's just a lot of weird stuff. And look at the dates of these emails, too. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm starting to open my eyes more to the possibility that the official stories that we've been told, hot take, maybe were a lie. Okay? That maybe the government and the country as a whole is not truthful about what's going down. And that maybe a movie like Back to the Future maybe knew more than we thought, and somehow gave us in code what was happening and was trying to tell us. But all this could be just a BS conspiracy theory. Maybe they meant nothing, and maybe they were just artistically doing things at the time, and now we're taking them out of context. That's also a possibility. But it's just fun to think that maybe there's something more. This is a comedy. I'm Dave Chappelle. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.